So, David, have you got a joke this week?
No.
Why do you always leave it up to me?
No.
Are you going to say anything else but no today?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Hello, and welcome to episode 19 of the Pomcast. I'm Jared.
I'm David, hi.
He said something other than no, and yes, so that's a positive thing. And, oh my god, it's been such a long week. It feels like an eternity since we've sat down in front of this microphone for me.
Really?
I've been just, oh my god,
Man,
work.
you must be bored a lot at work. If
you
your time is going that slowly.
You have no idea how dull and depressing it is to continue to work in retail. Like, you seriously have absolutely no idea what it is
because
like.
I've never worked in retail.
Exactly, that's why I'm saying it. And it's something I really want to talk about today, because this week, and
Welcome to Jared's
little rant about retail work.
Retail rant.
Well,
Rough and rower. I couldn't think of a time frame that started with R. Recap. That'll do. Jared's retail rant recap. It's not really a recap.
It's not
anyway, go.
So I've been in continuous work bar 3 months of my life since I was 14 and 9 months.
Since you were 4.
Since I was 4. Yes, I was enslaved by my parents.
Cool.
Anyway, 14 and 9 months I started work at KFC, and then I was there for almost 4 years, and then I moved to the wonderful world of liquor, and then I was in hospitality as well, and I worked for Australia Post, and then I worked in retail in a stationery store, and now I'm in an outdoors company, which is funny because I don't go outside.
Speaking of KFC, I think it's in India, KFC have put out a limited edition box that is a game controller. Right, so it's just a box full of chicken with 2 handles with buttons on the side and a little thing that you can put your phone into on top of the box, and then it connects via Bluetooth, so you can play games with the convenience of having a box of chicken in the middle of your controller. So that it just reminded when you say KFC.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a thing that, I don't know why, it's just in India. It's a very limited thing. But why does it exist? Who knows? Anyway, so
That's right. It just makes me really hate my job history more, to be honest. So yes, I've worked in retail, hospitality, fast food, and in the wonders of, I suppose it's called warehouse work, which was throwing around people's parcels at Christmas time. But it's... This job that I have now is sort of the really shit icing and cherry on top of a really piss poorly made cake, to be honest, because I have never ever dealt with customers as bad as what the people of Bootle and Liverpool are when it comes to clothing. Now, Go Outdoors it's a very big company. There's over 50 stores across the UK, and they're pretty much the go-to store if you want equipment to go outside, as it says, Go Outdoors. They sell clothing, they sell shoes, bikes, tents, camping equipment, rock climbing equipment. They sell lots of odds and sods. They sell fishing equipment as well and running stuff. So there's a lot in this store. And for the last 2 weeks of my life, I've been working more on the clothing section because the supervisor of that department has been away. Now, if I ever have to go back into the clothing department, I'm actually going to cry because you could have the entirety of the men's, the children's, and the women's section all completely faced and looking perfect, and 5 minutes later, 2 customers could have come in, and pretty much what they do is they pick up an item of clothing that they think they might like, they take it off the hanger, and then they launch it across the store. Because that's apparently what you're supposed to do. Or they just leave it lying somewhere where it's not supposed to be. And it is so eternally frustrating. And I was always taught, I can't remember who said it to me, but I'm pretty positive it was my grandmother, that it was shop like you were never there, which is just return everything to its spot, wander about, look at things, you don't have to touch every item, look at the stuff.
You gotta feel.
Well, apparently you've got to feel and try it on, and then put it on the coat hanger backwards, and then just put it with something else, or launch it on top of a shoe. And it's like,
I don't go shopping at stores very often, but when I do, like, I go to put stuff back, but half the time the assistants there are just like, no, I gotta take it, and just take it away from me. I'm like, okay, I was just gonna... Bye.
No, and I can completely understand why they do that, because it's their job. Know. Yeah, exactly. They don't trust people. Retail workers do not trust people to actually put stuff back.
Which makes
There
sense.
is such a tiny percentage of the population that understand that, oh, so I picked it off that way and it was in size order, so I'll put it back in size order because it's got a little cube and it tells me. No, people don't do that usually. So if I had the time, I would follow around every customer and go outdoors and just take all of their things back, because I don't want to go and then find it again because they've launched it somewhere.
So you see in like the big shopping centres in Melbourne with all the just bundles of clothes, they're just like thrown on. The people don't even care because it's just going to get messed up in 2 seconds anyway.
I know, and it is... Oh my god, it drives me mad, and it's such a... Everybody's so concerned about them. They couldn't give a shit that these... People like me and my colleagues and people all over the planet are actually working and trying to get other things done, as well as clean up after these people and their self-serving attitude to life.
You are a clothes servant.
Yes, apparently. I'm also a footwear servant. Some guy came up to me and just shoved a shoe in my face and said, I need a 10. And I felt like giving it back to him and said, I need a day off. Like, it's a little bit of a two-way street here, mate. I had no idea what the shoe was that he gave me. I don't just know what they're called and where they are at the back. I have to look at the sign and be like, all right, so that's called an aerator, or that's the Mendip, or whatever. Like, don't... Just stop. Stop being a wanker when you shop. Please. Please, for the love of God.
Or better, don't shop. Just don't. Just don't shop.
Shop, but shop like you were never there.
Or just don't go there. That's the best. That's my strategy.
You know, but you buy such a small amount of stuff online. Like, you don't... You survive off nothing.
I am a small consumer of things.
Yes. You do market research and then just buy it, which is good, which is what I do, but I like to go and then look at the thing. Look at the thing, not touch the thing. Don't pick it up and fondle it and then...
Well, it depends if it requires touching.
What do you mean?
Why do you have to...
Because I like to gauge what something is by seeing it in the metal or the plastic or the fabric. I would prefer to see it rather than just buying it from a picture description.
What kind of things do you... Like, what would you buy online that you wouldn't have to see?
A book.
A book makes sense.
A book?
I just buy ebooks.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to carry around books while trying to take an aeroplane.
Books I can buy offline. Online.
Off the internet. It's weird.
Yeah, exactly. What else have I bought? I bought the microphone, but then again, I had already seen that in Australia. Like, I'd actually seen it and held it and knew what it was going to be. So that's okay. No, I think that's about it. That's the list of things that I would buy offline without seeing. Books are the only thing.
Books are pretty... I mean, the size... You can't really judge the size.
No, but you have a vague...
Yeah,
actually,
most books are...
Well, actually, considering how much time that I spend in bookstores, there's probably no thing that I would just buy off the internet, to be honest, because I've already seen most of the books.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've had my little retail rant now. Shop like you were never there. That's advice that I'm going to give you. And then retail assistants might actually be happy.
No.
I said might. Some of us are okay if you get us on a good day.
You have good days?
They're very few and far between.
So, like, one?
Yes, a decade.
One. Okay.
One a decade.
And that's a maybe.
And that is a maybe. It's a very big maybe. Yeah.
Well done.
So, what's happened for you this week? I've had the longest week in work. What did you do?
My weeks go by pretty quick because I just do stuff. Just do lots of music, drawing. What did I draw? I drew a picture, a little landscape inspired by Harlech in Wales when we went there. The castle and the view of the misty mountains. But I didn't add mist into the mountains because meh. In the style of an Adventure Time background art. So, like, line art. Try and get that sexy line art. And vibrant colours.
Yes. It looks quite good. So,
it's alright. Yeah.
Well, considering you've been doing it with your Waco tablet thingy. Wacom.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just going to call it a Waco tablet because that's easier to remember. Considering you've only had that for, a couple of months, and it's
that thing's freaking great. It cost me, what? I think it was about £50 or something.
£50.
It was cheap. That's like it's not the cheapest one, but it's almost the cheapest. It's like the Intuos Art small one, and it just works really well. Like, you could do professional art on this easily, because they're copyrighted, trademarked. What's the other one? The thing you own an idea or a concept.
The intellectual property.
Yeah, but there's another word for it.
Well,
when you submit a
patent?
Yes! Patented. That's the word I was looking for. Technology. Patented technology of the Wacom tablet. So your pen doesn't need any batteries.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And the pen's got buttons on as well. It's got 2 little buttons, and it's like got 2048 levels of pressure. So it's very nice. And it creates like this little magnetic field and uses some sort of, I don't know, probably induction to just like induce a current in the pen. So when you press a button, it knows what's happening. Yeah.
If anybody understands what David just said, please send me a message to decipher it. Because I'm very confused.
There's no point.
No, there's no real point. But,
if you feel help.
Well, no, but
probably not.
I'm fine.
You're alright.
Yeah.
You're okay. I drew a thing, and then I also decided to, for some reason, make a little 1-second GIF of a laser puppy from Star vs. the Forces of Evil cartoon show, which is just draw a dog in space, wagging its tail, and shoots lasers out of its eyes. And then I made what else did I do? I made a little, instead of actually finishing my album, I just decided to make a little preview, and video for it, which goes for like 1.5 minutes, which took far too long, but I did it, and I thought it was funny.
Cool.
Memes.
So David's had a fairly productive week. I've spent a lot of it at work. But that doesn't mean that I haven't had time to read, and just for the benefit of the fact that I said I was going to do it, and I like talking about it, here's my politics tidbit for this week. So it's been as for me, it's been a long week, and it's been a long week in politics too, because we've been watching the wonders of Section 44.1 of the Constitution of Australia being challenged, which is if you're a dual citizen, you can't stand in the Parliament, which has been a little bit of a headache for a couple of Green senators, as well as some members of the opposition and the current government. But the big thing this week has been talking about inequality. Bill Shorten gave a speech stating that inequality needed to be addressed. Scott Morrison then said he was peddling lies that that the country is becoming more equal, but that's only if you look at it in the short term. Then the RBA governor, Robert Lowe, decided to chip in his 2 cents as well and gave a speech and said, yeah, actually, inequality is actually on the rise. And that's due to a very big discrepancy between income and service cost and how you can get mortgages and things like that. So the RBA governor then agreed with the opposition leader, which I'm sure pissed off ScoMo to no end. And then it's been an odd week because then the Labour Party opposition then decided to announce that they were going to tax trusts by 30%. So that's when families move money into a trust fund to then put themselves in a lower tax bracket. So all of their money sort of tax-free and they're putting it in there and they claim that it's, securing for their future and things like that for the children, which I can completely understand. But no, you need to be taxed on that money first. Farms and a couple of other areas, that are used by families to keep assets and things like that will be exempt from that charge, because farms are important, agriculture is important.
Well, we don't need to eat, it's fine.
Well, we kind of do.
If I just didn't have to eat, that'd be great. I could just... Yeah.
But then Matthias Cormann, who was the finance minister, the wonderful man that he is, the cigar smoker with Barnaby Joyce, decided to come out and say that the Labour Party are attacking small businesses because trust funds are used by them, and if trust funds are taxed, then small businesses will all shut. Not really sure where he's getting that information from, because my parents are small business owners, and if they have a trust fund somewhere, Mum, please tell me, because that'd be really handy to know. I don't know a lot of small business owners that use a trust fund to then hoard all of their money into to put themselves into a lower tax bracket.
Reinvest it back into the business. I have no idea how businesses work.
No, I know. It's okay.
Don't touch me.
But yeah, it's been a weird week. So inequality is on the rise. If you listen to the opposition leader and the RBA, the Reserve Bank of Australia, don't listen to the Treasurer because he is a knob, as most of them in the current government are. So I'm not even going to touch on American politics in this because I don't understand what's going on. All that I know is that journalists are they're using words like crazy and stupid in their articles because that's actually what's happening in America. So I'll ignore that. Just concentrate on Australia. There you go. Inequality's on the rise. That's your politics tidbit this week. Really cheery. I've had a great week. I'm a bit ranty at the moment. This is my only day off this week, so I'm making the most of it. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How?
Anything interesting happen in the world of technology this week, David?
No.
Tesla delivered their first 30 Model 5s or whatever it is. Threes. And then Elon Musk said that mass producing electric cars, affordable electric cars, was going to be hell for the first couple of years.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's
because getting all the materials is fucking...
Getting all of the materials,
a lot of battery,
making sure that, well, this is the thing. This is the first fundamental shift in car production in the last century.
Can't spell fundamental without mental.
Or funds. It's going to be a very difficult transition period, and it's going to be progressed further by the fact that France and Britain have legislated and agreed to stop the sale of solely powered combustion engine cars by 2040. So any car that's on the market is going to be at least a hybrid or a sole electric vehicle within the next 23 years, which is really good that they're stepping in that direction. It's long overdue, mind you, because they need to start investing in infrastructure that's going to allow us to move around the countries by electric power.
Electric power.
The state government of Queensland has moved on that. They're creating a supercharger highway stretching along the east coast of Australia up to, I think it's Rockhampton or a little bit further on, where there's going to be supercharger points.
Yeah, it's going to go from it's going to be one from Melbourne to Sydney.
Yes, I think the plan is to do most of the east coast.
Yeah.
So.
Woo! And then Elon. Is Elon going to build that battery thing in, what is it, South
Yes,
Australia?
it's been agreed. So, South Australia's power problems, which were fairly prevalent a couple of months ago, Elon Musk has agreed...
It's renewables' fault. It's like, no.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris Yorman. I like your journalistic style, but you can keep your political views to yourself. Tesla will be supplying batteries to store power to South Australia within the next 12 months, which will be fairly interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, lots of electrification going on, which is great. Now we just need to actually produce power in a clean way instead of with coal.
Coal is good for humanity. Here, hold that. Is that bad for you? It's a bit of coal.
Well, it's
a bit of coal. It'll get you.
It's...
Why is there black shit everywhere?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I've got cancer now. Thanks.
Cancer?
Cold sore?
I don't know.
I think it's called an ulcer.
A cold sore.
Cold sore, yeah.
Cold sores they're not that fun.
No,
it's like
they're
on
really
the edge
not.
of your mouth, you're like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off. That's the end of a cold sore.
Yeah.
Do you like idiots?
Well, no, to be honest. Because ignorance is bliss, and God, do I hate them for it. Living a blissful life where they don't have a brain between their ears. Why did you bring that up?
I don't know. I wonder what it's like to be not self-aware of yourself.
I can't fathom what it must be like.
Where you're just in autopilot
Yeah.
the entire time.
But it seems like so many people across the planet are.
They get told what to do.
And they do it.
They don't question why they're doing it. They just are. They just exist.
Yeah.
Like a sheep.
They are quite literally their tax file number, or in the UK, their national insurance number. That's all they are. They're just a number to the government, and they don't think. They consume, and they do things that they're told to do. Like,
You've seen the movie Idiocracy, have you?
I haven't actually. A lot of people have told me watch it, and then when somebody tells me to watch things, I often don't because I don't care.
It's quite. Anyway, the premise is, in our modern world, there's not really a huge amount. Well, in the first world countries, it's fairly easy to survive and reproduce as a cleft.
Yes.
A pleb, you don't have to be smart to make a baby. And then that baby makes more baby, and you just end up... Anyway, so the world just devolves into stupid people making more and more stupid people, but the smart people are like, oh, it's not the best time to make a baby because we don't have financial security, so they don't. And then they never get around to it, or there's other complications. So
Yes.
It's just stupid people just end up taking over the planet.
Yes.
And all the scientists are concerned with hair loss and penis enlargement. So that's what they put their science towards. So the whole world falls into chaos, and there's garbage mountains, and...
That sounds like what we're heading towards.
And this average guy gets put into a test, like a cryo sleep thing, but then the whole project gets cancelled, but he just gets left out.
Oh.
They didn't end up unfreezing him, so then he gets put... I can't remember how far into the future it is. It might have only been a couple of 100 years or something. Maybe not even that long. And he wakes up and he's like, what? But he's just a reasonable, regular intelligence, but he is the smartest person in the world. Because everyone else, they're at about 5, and he's at 70.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the premise, and then he's going to try and fix the world's problems. So, do you think that is where we're headed?
From personal experience with some people that I know, Most definitely. Stupid people keep having children. And the ones that I would prefer to see...
They just have lots of children.
Yeah. It's evident in this bloody street that we're in.
Haven't been taught sexual education.
They probably have been taught sexual education in the sense that go have sex is their sexual education.
No, sex is bad. Don't have sex, and then they do.
That's a Mean Girls quote. No.
If you have sex, you will get pregnant and die.
And die. Yes, I fear that is the way the world is going because, as we touched on, people don't seem to be self-aware. People don't seem to question anything. They just go with it. America's imploding. North Korea has weapons.
North Korea.
It doesn't matter whether they're incompetent or not. They have nuclear weapons.
It's like...
That is a bad thing.
Like, is it worth... Because as soon as someone launches a nuke, the entire planet is just going to explode. Because we've developed missiles that can target... The supersonic missiles that you can arm with a nuclear warhead that can pretty much get to anywhere on the planet within a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
With deadly accuracy. So basically, as soon as someone launches a nuke, you can just counter-launch your nuke, and then... Oh, you both die. You know, the optimal scenario where everyone dies. And that would be interesting. It would make for a nice... definitely fairly interesting. The apocalypse is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
I wanna know how it... obviously, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
You know that. But it'll be very interesting and unlike anything anyone's ever experienced before.
Well, that's the thing. But at the same time,
unique.
We had to have... We didn't have to have it, but the argument was from conservative leaders at the time that everybody should have nuclear weapons to act as a deterrent. So having them mean... If you had them and the person you didn't like had them, you wouldn't use them because the other person had them. And the nuclear deterrent was a thing. And that's always been the idea of war, that if I had an army and you had an army, we wouldn't war because we both had an army and it would just become a stalemate. No! You fucking morons! It's never worked in the past. You only have to look at the history between France and Britain for, I don't know, 800 years.
But, now, it's pretty much just... It's just a one-hit kill.
Well, I know, and
that's the thing. There's no, war. It's just, I'm gonna blow you up. Okay, we both die. Boop.
There's been
Have a present.
There's been a lot of talk recently about how the scientists who created the atom bomb and the H-bomb actually sort of felt afterwards. And when the US, mind you, dropped the two only nuclear weapons that have been dropped on civilians in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August of 1945 to end World War II, everybody, a week after seeing the images come out of what had happened to these cities, realised what sort of shit they had created, realised what they had done. That's why the US then gave a crap load of money to Japan to rebuild and to say sorry. Because they didn't quite
Sorry we blew up your country.
Yeah, sorry we killed thousands upon thousands of people, which we'll never know the actual toll of how many lives were lost.
Because you can't go there.
No, you can.
It's fine. Don't go there. You get cancer and die.
No, that's if you go to Chernobyl.
You get cancer. Actually, isn't that alright now?
No, that's still got many decades left before anybody can go there.
Well, we can go there in a suit.
Yeah.
And there's wolves, I think.
There's lots of issues with that part of the world.
Want a giant catfish?
No, I'm okay.
You can get one.
But anyway...
Don't eat it.
Let's not talk about this because it's a bit depressing, to be honest. The world's got 100 years left before it's kind of fucked temperature-wise, and then you've got morons in control of countries that have weapons of mass destruction. And these ones are actually real. Unlike Iraq, thanks Tony Blair, thanks John Howard, thanks George Bush Jr., you wankers. As a history student, I really wish I hadn't actually studied history, to be honest. Every time I look back, it makes me sad.
Well, it's just the same shit. They don't learn.
History doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it does take a similar form. Dear me. Anyway, it's my day off. I'm going to go get a coffee and do some writing. And
about the future.
No, not the future.
Just the mediocrity of your existence. Yes.
Don't worry, you can sit and draw mediocre things.
Okay, I will. Actually, they're not mediocre. They're just a bit shit.
So they haven't even reached a mediocre level yet.
Not yet. They'll get to, like, there's a certain, some of it's mediocre, but like ultimately mediocre. That's what I'm aiming for.
Consistency in life is key.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a bit of a depressing Pomcast. Don't even have a photo. We've just got a sheet for you.
It's very enlightening.
Great. Anyway, goodbye.